welcome guys to the third episode of the Hurry Up podcast. I'm Anthony and I'm here with my friend Adam.
What's up?
And today we're going to be covering some Houston Texans news, even though technically there's going to be no Houston Texans football. So very sad. We're going to go over the game a little bit. We're going to go over some news because there's been some hard-hitting news that went on with the organization and some other Rockets and Astros news, of course, at the end. And let's go ahead and jump right into last Saturday's game. Adam, and I'll let you open up.
All right. I think it was a game that both of you and myself predicted the outcome. We're both pretty certain Patriots are going to win. I didn't want to be a homer. I picked with my brain. But I don't know about you, but I thought that game was going to be a lot bigger of a blowout. I didn't think it was going to be that close, especially at halftime.
Everybody had, what was it, a 17-point spread on us, or 16-point spread in Las Vegas. So, I mean, everybody thought that we were going to come out of this losers. You know, that's, of course, how it happened, and that's, you know, the outcome. Just the gap in which we came out was pretty substantial. A lot contrary to what people believe. We have a defense, you know?
I fell victim of the moment, though. Like, I was like, all right. I was like, I'll watch. You know, I'm a fan. I'm not going to not watch. So I turned it on, and we just come out swinging right out of the gates. I was like, oh, my gosh. I was like, this is our game for the taking. We get the goal line stand going in a halftime against them. I was getting hype. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I was feeling the same way too during that game, you know. And for most of that game, we were in it until going into the fourth quarter, in which Brock unfortunately had the couple interceptions and some just bad game-making decisions throughout the whole entire offense. Not just not Brock, and I don't blame this loss solely on Brock. I place some of it, but I place a lot of it on our offense. Our offense just could not get it going to get what we need.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, and I'm not gonna give too much away because we're gonna touch on this a little later. But our offensive line really wasn't giving them too much help. Lamar Miller had a pretty decent game though, but it wasn't enough
to get what we need. And I feel like a lot of our problems, which, I mean, we knew this going into the game too, and it really struck us all season, was settling for field goals was a big problem in this game. We did not capitalize on a lot of opportunities that our defense gave us, and so instead of giving a touchdown or any kind of points, we get no points or a field goal, and we just cannot win a game against the Patriots. You cannot win a game against the Patriots on field goals alone, for sure. No matter how much pressure you're putting on the Tom Brady, you just cannot win it on field goals.
No, but it really helped that our defense kind of kept Tom Brady off pace. We laid some real good hits on him, so it was it'll be an interesting matchup for the Patriots going further into the playoffs to see if other opposing defenses can do the same, because we definitely were getting inside Brady's head a lot.
We really kept them off balance, I think, for a good portion of the game. Yes, he still made some really good connections to some of his receivers, and then, of course, that's going to happen because he's Tom Brady. But we really did lay a lot of pressure on him, making him throw some more shorter passes for sure, and I think that was one of the keys to the game. I think we talked about last episode was getting up in Tom Brady's face, making him uncomfortable, and the thing that we did not capitalize, we did and we did not capitalize. The defense was able to capitalize on him, keeping him off the field for long stretches of drives, tiring out our defense. We got in there. We got a lot of really good third down stops for sure. It's just that our offense really couldn't keep that time of possession enough to really stop him keep coming out on the field and get as many possessions as he did. Which was really sad.
It was definitely an issue. Yeah, in the early going, especially the first half, we were able to keep him kind of on the bench. It's just, the second half, we just weren't really moving the ball as well. And like you said, we weren't capitalizing on some of the Brady's mistakes, and we're settling for 3 points. And Nick Novak isn't going to win us a game against the Patriots.
And like I said earlier, I don't place this loss on Brock entirely. I really place it on the offense as a whole. And one of the things I can cite especially is the Will Fuller, which should have been a touchdown, that he literally let slip through his grasp. He literally went through his fingers, that touchdown that devastating one that would have really put us on par with the Patriots as score wise. It really is devastating. That kind of stuff kind of happened all night. A lot of people dropping stuff they shouldn't be dropping. I know.
You got to remember, we settled for
And we
nothing on
didn't even
that
get
drive.
and,
I mean, that's
and we
seven
didn't even
points
get
right
anything
there.
on that drive where you're right. We had to kick it back to them. So we go from having a potential touchdown to having absolutely nothing, which is
Yeah, nothing. We couldn't even get a
which
field
is
goal.
so
Nothing.
infuriating. But it doesn't surprise me because really this has been the problem all season, or just the offense in general has been the problem all season with Brock and also with Savage too. Because if I went back and I watched that Jags game again with Tom Savage went in, and even when Tom Savage was in there, and even when Brock was in there, a lot of receivers dropped a lot of things that they honestly should have had control of. Now I went the couple turnovers he had was Brock's fault, but there was some stuff where they just completely dropped the ball, literally.
Yeah, and I'll give him a little bit of a pass, but I mean, I just you cannot throw 3 interceptions in the final 10 minutes of the game. I mean, that's
It's
inexcusable in
it's
a playoff
inexcusable.
game,
It's
even if it's on the
inexcusable, and I
road.
think some of those, they come in garbage time where he's really just trying to force things. The game
Yeah,
is
well, come the
the
second and
game is
third
out
one,
of
yeah,
reach,
he
and you're
was
just trying to
trying.
make anything happen. I don't exactly place those as mental errors in his part. The first one, yes, that was definitely his fault. I think he threw it under his receiver, I believe, DeAndre Hopkins. He was trying to target, and he just threw it underneath him, not enough to get him to him, and the corner just came up and made a really good play. I think was that first
Yeah,
one. So that was definitely Brock's fault. But some of the other ones I don't necessarily think it's his fault. I think you're right. Lamar had a pretty decent game, but the line, just like all season, is just not giving him the amount of holes. And I think also him going from not really having a primary start in Miami to now having a primary start is really beating him up and really taking a toll on his body. And I think he's slowing down because of that. If you go back and look, he really is getting beat up and, like you said, getting tired and slowed down during the games.
his workload has definitely amplified a lot, and I mean, he didn't have a bad game. He had 73 yards. I'd like to see a little. I'd like to see him get closer to 100, but I mean, I could live with that, I suppose. Um, you're right that he had that nagging ankle injury that kept on. He would tweak it and retweak it, and then he'd be out for a few series. And then Alfred Blue was in there, and I'm not a big Alfred Blue fan, so every time he got on there, I
Because
was, oh
Alfred
my
Blue is
god.
going to run right into the pile, get 2 yards, and do absolutely nothing. That's Alfred Blue's strategy, apparently, and I don't know why he does that. And it's so frustrating because I watched that Chiefs and Steelers game, and I'm sure you've seen the image or the gif of Bell, who literally took the ball, walked 2 steps, then saw the line, and just burst through that hole. It was amazing, the kind of patience he had. He literally walked the ball. And a lot of that, I give that credit to Bell, and I give that credit to our line. But even if we had that kind of line, even like a Dallas Cowboy kind of line, I don't think that Blue.
But Bell's unique. Bell's got some serious
Yeah, it's true,
patience.
but I still think that even if you give Blue like the Cowboys line, he's still not going to do anything with it. He still did the same thing.
No. Yeah, I don't. He's definitely not an elite back by any
No, and
stretch
I
of the
think,
means.
not to take away from another topic we're going to talk about, but I think that's one of the things we got to look at going into free agency and even the off season is really just replacing Blue with somebody and maybe get a power back, maybe get another guy, or maybe try to promote somebody in our building.
Alfred Blue is
That's
our
what I'm
power
saying.
back, though.
We gotta replace him as a power back, or just get 2 cutbacks, or promote somebody within our own building, like Akeem Hunt. Make him take more of the workload or practice or do whatever you need to. But I think that's one of the keys we gotta look going into it. And I'm just gonna say, give all credit to the Patriots team, man. It's the Patriots. They do what they do. They still got rattled up, shaken up, but they still came out, victorious. And in the end, nobody thought any different.
I'm surprised you didn't touch on one thing that I was really expecting you to touch on. Our special
Oh, right,
teams had
right.
shown its mark like it
Our
had
special
all
teams is
season.
awful. It was so bad. I didn't even want to mention it.
Offense was bad, but they were
They did
just as
not give
bad.
us. Mm,
Couldn't tackle in the open field.
mm-mm. They couldn't get us any kind of field position. I mean, we had one good kick, where they punted us to like the 30. No, excuse me, it was a 20-yard line, and we got all the way up to the 40, I think. That was like the only good special teams of the night where we got a pretty decent return. The rest of it was just a lot of bad returns, a lot of getting tripped up in the backfield, a lot of kneeing the ball when you obviously couldn't run it, and I placed a lot of that on the rookie, Irvin. Yeah, Tyler
Tyler
Irvin.
Irvin?
He's just, I mean, I don't know if it's because he's a rookie or what, but he really needs to do a lot of practicing while going into next season. And a lot of that, like we said last episode, is catching the ball is what he needs to definitely practice.
I mean, it hits him in the face mask. That's the most aggravating thing I can ever watch. I mean, he was a beast at Fresno State at returning. How is he letting the football hit his
I don't know.
face mask?
I guess the bright lights of uh,
No,
I'm
no.
trying to think of an excuse, but I just can't.
I know you're
I
trying to
can't. I
help him
can't
out,
think
but
of an
no.
excuse for him. It's just inexcusable.
There's no
Yeah.
defending.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's transition from this. If you got any other statements, let's.
No, that was. I just want to touch on that.
Something else we're going to talk about. Speaking of offense, there's no OC going into next year. George Godsey, it has been confirmed by the team, has been let go. Or, excuse me, they mutually part ways. Sorry, phrasing in that. They mutually decided to part ways. Which...
We both know he's fired.
I'm not...
It's just a sugarcoat term.
Exactly ecstatic, nor am I disheartened about that. George Godsey was an okay offensive coordinator. He did what we could, what we have. The thing I noticed from the last 3 years, right? 3 years he's been with us? 2 years?
No, 2 years.
I thought it was 3.
Yeah, he wasn't here for O'Brien's first year. The first year O'Brien called plays on his own.
We will see. We can take from that to see how this next season goes.
It's honestly not something that I'm personally looking forward to. I mean, but this is O'Brien's specialty was offense. That's why he was brought in here, and he hasn't in his 3 years carried an offense in the top 16 of the league. So that's pretty inexcusable when that's his specialty. And defense was already good before he got here, and it stayed elite. So he's definitely got to make some strides forward.
I'm hoping that he kind of takes a hold on this offense a little more. But going back to George Godsey, I know that what I was saying is the last 2 seasons, I noticed that he really runs a lot of these cutesier plays, let's try to fool them when it really doesn't. And it really kind of hindered us here and there. It helped out some, but a lot of these trick plays really didn't help us. So, good luck to George Godsey. He's going to land somewhere for sure. He's definitely talented enough to be an OC. I just don't know if he was a right pick for our team, and especially it hadn't shown it the last 2 years.
No, yeah. It was something that I was happy to see. I think it was pretty interesting that O'Brien opted to just remain the man in charge of play calling duties. I don't know what's your take on it. If you expected an OC to be hired, I expected someone to be hired.
Well, I expected to be something higher because that's the status quo. Usually, it doesn't happen often. I know last year, Hugh Jackson, I read, didn't have a offensive coordinator for the Browns, and we see how that went. So we'll see going into this season.
But I mean, what's interesting though is around week 5, O'Brien had took over play calling duties from George Godsey. So it's not like O'Brien didn't have his hand this season. I mean, it's just
back together. From what I read, is they eventually kind of came to a collab. From what I understanding, it was about 75% Godsey, 25% Bill O'Brien, where he felt he needed to stick in there. And that's interesting. And I'm going to wrap this around to another subject, going to Romeo Cornell and our linebackers coach, Rabel. So he got promoted to defensive coordinator, and Romeo Cornell is going to take more of a, I don't remember what they called it, more of an
assistant head coaching
more of an
position.
upper echelon kind of thing. So I think what that's going to allow Bill O'Brien to do is, instead of having to worry about the whole team, just kind of start focusing on, like you said, specifically the offense and fixing that. I think that was the whole kind of plan to begin with in the structure of this kind of whole letting Gotti go and then promoting, Rabel and having Cornell go up to more of a kind of assistant head coach is now you're allowing Bill O'Brien to more specifically focus on the offense, which I think is interesting.
I love this move. I'm a huge Mike Vrabel fan. He was supposed to be interviewing for the Rams head coaching position after the Patriots game, but they already gave the position up to him. I didn't think he was quite ready for head coaching, but so I think this is awesome that we can keep him here. I think he's on the rise. This is a good position for him, and what's nice is that Romeo Crennel's still in the building. So if he has, some questions or whatever, might need a little bit of a second opinion on something, Crennel's still there. And Crennel's a good guy that I didn't want to lose either. He's a very capable football mind. He was able to beat the Packers when they were undefeated a few years ago for Kansas City. So I mean, he's a good guy on both sides of the ball. I'm glad we were able to keep them both.
So
Uh, but
what do you
it'll
think
be
about what I was
interesting.
saying about Cornell? They're taking the upper echelon role and then allowing Bill O'Brien to focus more on the offense.
Oh yeah, it's no doubt. I mean, O'Brien's even stated himself. He says he's got to fix this offense. That was our biggest issue this year. Special teams needed work. Uh, Defense really, not like it was perfect, but it doesn't need anywhere near as much help as the other two sides of the ball.
Yeah, and hopefully this move allows us to have a better um, offense going into next season. And then Bill O'Brien hasn't even confirmed yet, which I understand, and I wouldn't either until it come closer to year practicing and getting all of the next season. But that he's not even saying that Brock will start next year. So there's no doubt that.
Do you hope I'm glad that hasn't been announced. I don't
I
want
don't
him to
want him
be.
either. I just think that it's
I mean,
interesting.
Jason Garrett didn't even announce Dak Prescott as the starter, and I feel much more comfortable
Yeah,
announcing him.
I don't. I would like for Brock to. It's one of those weird things. I would like for Brock to start, but I would like Brock to start because he has been training through the offseason, getting to our offense, and has earned the title to start. So I'll be much more interested when the next season rolls around and practice camp and stuff like that.
Yeah, uh, I agree. I mean, I'm just thinking that Brock really deserves it a lot. Don't get me wrong. I just thinking that Tom Savage has been here a little bit longer. I think realistically, it's just the paycheck is kind of what makes him more deserving. They kind of have a financial tie to him, and I think there's a little bit more responsibility that they think he might need to get another shot.
I would hope so. I'd hope that this is just a 1 year fluke where he's learning our system, but I don't know. Hopefully, what I hope they do in the offseason is really fix some of his mechanics, which I think was also affecting him a lot. Kind of like Blake Bortles, where their mechanics aren't exactly right, but they do have the talent to go out there and do something. So it'll definitely be interesting.
I just I'm just concerned because there was a lot of times where he was thrown behind the receiver. I mean, that's kind of something where at the elite level of the NFL, you've got to already know how to do. I mean, that's not a system issue. That's just you.
Well,
That's your
that's what I'm
mechanics. So
saying.
like, yeah, like you said,
Mechanics.
hopefully his
Hopefully,
mechanics
yeah,
can get
his
brushed up.
mechanics can hopefully get better. Uh,
Uh, but he's been sitting a while behind Peyton. I'd have thought that wouldn't have been his
yeah,
issue.
well, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that man. I cannot help him here now. So now talk about going in the off season. Let's talk a little about free agents, Adam. Who are our free agents, or who are our top free agents going into this next season?
I think the two biggest guys that we've got to get re-signed, or at least in talks, is AJ Bouye and Quentin Demps. Quentin Demps had a monster season. He's named to the Pro Bowl. AJ Bouye had a great year for being an undrafted rookie. I have a lot of respect for him. So I'd like to see us get both of them locked up for a few more years here in Houston, but let's see what
Yeah,
happens.
there definitely been a kind of a key center point to this defense, holding it down, especially in the middle, where sometimes our backfield hasn't exactly been top notch per se. With Kareem and Joseph back there, more so Joseph than Kareem, to be honest. But hopefully this gives our backfield a little bit more stability, and hopefully eventually, I know they're not, I know they're probably still one of the youngest on there, but a little bit of leadership in that back if we decide to go another route with our corners, getting younger and younger back there. I know with Kevin Johnson will be back next season. Totally forgot that he was out the picture this whole season, but he'll be back there. Maybe we get a few more young people back there, and they can really center around and be that kind of leadership role in that backfield, maybe.
I'm I'm sorry, but Kevin Johnson's really gonna have to pick it up next year. I know he got hurt this year, but next year if we don't see something, I mean, I'm not as big of a Kevin Johnson fan as you are, and I'm not really a fan of any of our secondary. Kareem Jackson had a awful game against the Patriots. I mean, I think really that's one part of our defense that could use a complete
And
reboot.
that's what I said. Maybe we get some younger guys back there, and Quinn Dimps and them. I know they're not exactly corners, but at least they kind of tie a sense of leadership and a little bit of veteran know-how in the back there. If we do decide to get newer backs.
And like I told you this off the air, but I was kind of thinking that I had read some reports that they may be interested in drafting a linebacker to potentially overtake Cushing in the coming years. He's getting
Yeah,
up
he
there in
is getting up
age.
there in age and injuries too. I mean, he just went out the first game of the season this year, so we'll see.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's a good leader, but yeah, he's getting up there, so we'll have to see what goes on in the draft. Is there any kind of needs that you'd like to see done in the draft? Addressed?
The offensive line, of course, is what we really need to fix. More primarily, is it the left side of the line? The left side of the line, I believe, is the weaker side of our line. Is
No,
it the right
it's
side?
the right side.
Excuse
Left
me,
side
it's
has
the
Dwayne Brown.
even Dwayne Brown. That's still kind of an iffy
Yeah,
situation.
I understand, but he's by far our
So
best guy on
yeah,
the
more
line.
specifically, our right side of the line is where we really need to focus on. Um, I like to take the kind of approach where we take a quarterback every draft. Just because. Like, what's the harm in like later rounds? Um,
I don't believe we've drafted anyone in the O'Brien era for quarterback.
Tom
I think
Savage.
Tom Savage was a
No, I
Kubiak
thought we
guy.
drafted him our our first Bill O'Brien year, I believe. Yes, it
You
was
think
his.
so?
Yes, it was because Tom Savage is a 2 or 3 year man. Tom Savage hadn't only been here for like 2 years. So yes, 2014.
Yeah, you're right. And O'Brien's been
2000.
here three
He
years.
came our
Yeah, that's right.
2014 draft. So that was the first Bill O'Brien year.
You're
So
right.
we'll
Yeah.
take him, but why not take one until we find somebody, right? Or just have him to back up. That's always an option. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take a whiteout because I would require an early round pick. And
Yeah, it's not often you find a hidden gem for
no, but I think
wideouts.
we may eventually need to retool that because besides Fuller, who's injury riddled, and Brack, it's basically eventually going to be Braxton, Hopkins, and Fuller is going to be our guys.
Yeah.
Maybe draft a couple to replace,
Uh,
help them out.
do you think we re-up with
That's
Hopkins
what I
this
was going to circle
offseason?
back around to because his contract. I think we re-op.
He's going into his last year, so but this is usually when people get their extensions. No one really works on
Yeah,
their
we
last
have to.
year.
You have to get him back because who else are you going to replace him with? What?
Do you think after last season he gets less money
Um,
than what he would have
it
got?
depends on if they place a lot of this season on him or on Brock. I think he will get less money. Do I think it's right that he gets less money? No, I don't. I think a lot of this was Brock's fault. I think that unfortunately he had a bad season due to a bad quarterback, and that's going to come back on him. But I think we do re-up with him for sure.
How much money do you think he draws? Range. I mean, obviously, just you don't have to be specific,
What's the
but I
average
mean,
for a wideout, for a league wideout?
it depends on the caliber. It could be like 80, 60, 50. It
Probably
just
about 60,
varies.
50. Probably about 50. I'm going to pinpoint
I think
50.
he could get
I think he
60,
could get
65.
65, but I think I more accurately probably pinpoint 50. I think you got to re-sign him because who else do you go back to? Do you go back to Strong? I mean, is he really going to be your veteran guy back
No.
there?
Strong was the biggest overhyped player on this team that didn't show up at all for me, unless you
No,
thought he did,
I
but I
didn't.
didn't see
I
much from
did
him at
not,
all.
and that's why I'm saying if you get rid of Hop, who are you gonna have back there? You're gonna have Strong. Is he gonna be your leadership veteran guy?
If he were to leave, well, I mean, this is hypothetical, of course, but if he were to leave, Fuller would be our
He
best
would be our
guy,
best guy, but
and he doesn't
he'd
have
be our
the
best
best
guy. But I'm
hands on the
talking about
team.
best leadership and veteran guy. I mean, Strong would be your veteran guy back there because Nate Washington and
Oh,
everybody else would
sure,
be left. So, I mean, I don't
sure. Or you could even argue
know
Mumphrey.
because Mumphrey was drafted last year. I thought he was drafted
Mumphrey?
last year, or 2 years ago.
Well, so
So
is
you know,
Strong.
Mumphrey or Strong, they're both not exactly that kind of role, anyways. Either way, you're sitting in a pretty position.
No.
So
if you're calling uh, Mumphrey or Jalen Strong your leaders, you're not deep in your wide receiving core at all. Another thing I want to backtrack on a little bit is, do you think that with all the changes we've had with the coaching staff, do you think that there's anyone else we may let go, or do you think we're pretty much set?
I think we may let go and try to find another quarterbacks coach because apparently
Quarterbacks coach.
something's not going on. And then actually, what I just want to say, go back to the George Godsey. George Godsey was actually 2 years. He was here for 3 years. He was here for 2 years as an OC and 1 year as a quarterbacks coach. He got promoted from a quarterbacks coach. So I
Okay.
think that we have to find another quarterbacks coach because obviously something's not right there.
No.
Obviously something's wrong. Though that room is apparently a quarterback's room is apparently something's wrong back there. Even Tom Savage didn't look
I'm
great.
not saying O'Brien's our savior, but I could live with a weaker quarterback room because that's supposed to be his
I think you
forte.
still gotta draft a quarterbacks coach. I think you gotta change that position. I think we could let go of that guy. Other than that, I mean, we've been pretty. Maybe special teams if you really wanted to shake things up.
Yes, that's exactly what I was wanting to get to. I would very much like to see a shakeup with Larry Izzo. If you want to give him one more year, fine, but he's got to be on a real short leash. Our special teams was pretty bad. It's just being covered up by our
Yeah.
offense.
So I
It
think
was
we could let go of
awful.
a special teams coach. You could let go of a quarterbacks coach.
I could let go of Larry Izzo and our
Yeah,
quarterbacks coach.
I think that's what you do. Find somebody else, or if you just give them one more year just to make sure. But either way, I think they're on a.
Yeah, but if he did, I mean, I'd be going by like week 5. If it's just that awful, I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, I was just one more thing I
Yeah.
wanted to touch on.
Now obviously the championships are coming up very soon. But let's get back to that. Let's go a little bit more in the future. Let's talk about Super Bowls, Adam. Let's talk about some early Super Bowl picks.
Out of the 4 teams we got left, the Super Bowl game that I want to see, and I think that we will see, is going to be New England against Green Bay.
Uh,
And I hope Green Bay wins it.
that is definitely the quote unquote best matchup.
That would be so fun to watch. The 2 best quarterbacks in the league battling it out. I would love to
Oh,
watch that.
the dissing that's going on right now is so sad, Adam.
Let's be honest, Brock is.
No, I'm not talking about Brock. You're dissing somebody that's in this championship. He's looking at you, be like, "What's up, bro? You talk about best quarterbacks? I'm right here." He's staring you in the face, Adam.
He's definitely the most underrated. I'll give him that. And he's obviously lobbied to be the front
Who are we
runner
talking
for
about, Adam?
MVP. I know
Who is he?
they're talking about Matt
Oh yeah,
Ryan.
yeah. I'm talking about Matt Ryan. That guy, you're so dissing him right now, and I think that you're being unfair.
The Falcons are the most complete team. Don't get me
No,
wrong. They
they're not the
really
most
are.
complete. No,
They're
they're
the
not.
most
Their
complete
defense
team
is not complete at all. Oh
on the
yeah,
NFC.
yes,
On the
yeah.
NFC between the two. I'm not talking about overall for the 4 teams. Uh, Most complete team in the NFC remaining. I just Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron Rodgers can pull anything out of his
Yeah,
tricks, out
But
of his
Matt
bag of
Ryan and his
tricks.
offense, they score so much and so fast.
He just took down the #1 Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World.
I
That
think
was
the Falcons
impressive.
could have done the same thing. I'm just saying. I think the Falcons could have done the same
Oh, I'm
thing.
not saying they couldn't have,
I'm saying
but
you're.
Rodgers
I'm
did
just
it on
saying
his
you're
own.
mad disrespecting the Falcons right now, and that's why I'm gonna go ahead and say
they've got so much better people. They've got Julio
So I'm
Jones. They've
saying,
got
so I'm saying
Tevin
you're dissing
Coleman.
them.
They've
That's what I'm
got
saying. You're
Devontae
automatically
Freeman.
punching the ticket for Green Bay. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna lobby for a Patriots and Falcons game. And while that doesn't sound very sexy in name, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a great offensive battle, which I'm really looking forward to. An offensive battle. I think they're gonna give them more of an offensive battle than Green Bay will. I think that's how. I think they will. I think the
Really?
Falcons.
Green Bay has got like 30 points in the last 4
The
games.
Falcons scored more than any other team in the NFL this season, and they've also scored the fastest in any NFL team this season too. So I think when you're talking about scores, because our last couple last couple Super Bowls have really been defensive heavy, and while that's cool for a little while, I want to see a shootout, and I think the best option for a shootout is going to be Matty Ice and Tom Brady clicking in the Super Bowl in Houston. Points are going to rain down in that building more than they have.
You're talking to me about disrespecting Matty Ice, and you're disrespecting
I'm
Aaron
just saying
Rodgers.
there's going to be more points thrown in the NRG Stadium than there has been this
Did
whole
you
entire
see the
season.
last play against the
I
Cowboys? Oh, that's awful. That's awful.
Hey, it's the truth. That's going to be the most offensive scoring the NRG Stadium has seen this whole entire season, and that's sad.
I don't even know what to say to that.
You can't because it's true. It's true, Adam. You can't say nothing.
Well, there's no doubt I'll take a Matt Ryan or Aaron Rodgers over what we've got
So
now.
I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to be the Atlanta Falcons versus the Patriots.
The Atlanta Falcons versus the
Yeah, I don't know
Patriots.
why I said Atlanta. They could have just said the Falcons versus the Patriots.
I know, I was expecting you to say to New England or something in
No,
front of
just the
it.
Patriots.
I think you're underestimating
I
Aaron
think you're
Rodgers, man.
underestimating the Falcons. I've been riding the Falcons
Ah,
all season. I've been riding the Falcons all season, and now it's going to come to fruition. It's their time.
it's their time. Their last season in the dome, they're gonna bring a ship back to the
Hell yeah,
ATL,
they are. The last season, they're going to bring it back home. They're going to bring it around town.
and then they're gonna take that new Vince Lombardi trophy into their new
Hell
house.
yeah, and then they're going to be awful the next season. Well, not awful, but they're not going to make it back.
like the
Well,
Panthers.
yeah.
Except the Panthers
Yeah,
couldn't win it.
it's true.
They fell off the
True.
grid.
Real quick, speaking of teams going into new buildings, so it has been confirmed that the LA is getting another team. The Chargers are coming to LA, and people are pissed.
Yeah. I think it's kind of ridiculous that 2 years ago they didn't have any NFL teams and now
No,
they've got
they're
2.
still
You
looking
gotta
for
be
two.
kidding
They're
me.
still looking for some.
Who? Wait, LA's looking for
Yes, it
another
was a
football
joke
team?
saying that they don't have a team right now because they're so terrible.
Oh,
Thank you for getting the joke. I appreciate
that blew
it.
right over my
There's
head.
also been reports that the Chargers quarterback, Phillip Rivers, is saying he likes LA. He didn't want to get shipped off.
Yeah, I would like LA too if you're getting all that money.
And also, the Oakland Raiders are in talks, and it's pretty sure that they're going to be moving to Las Vegas. So old Jack Black Del Rio is going to be going to Las Vegas.
He looks nothing like Jack Black. Where did that even
That's
come
because he's a
from?
gambling man. So you say Jack Black because he gambles on 2-point conversions.
You mean Black Jack?
Just say Jack Black? Whatever. Blackjack, Jack Black. You know, it's a tongue twister, alright? I was in the moment, and the moment struck me down. Whatever. You know exactly what I mean.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was great.
yeah. Whatever.
I know what you meant. I was a bit confused at first, but yes, I got what
Maybe
you
Jack
meant.
Black. You
Yep,
don't know what teams he likes. Maybe Jack Black will follow him.
maybe. It's possible. It's possible. Who do you think's next to get a team? If I mean, obviously, if the Raiders go to Las Vegas, Chargers move, that handles all of the teams in the NFL right now. Do you think Mexico City or London may be next to get someone?
I don't think they're
An
next this
expansion?
season. I think maybe eventually down the road they'll get a team. But right now I don't think they will. And
Who's first on the list for an expansion, in your opinion?
London, they've had more games played there. They're set
London.
up. They've got the stadium. I think they're more
Yeah.
set up than the Mexico City is right now. for sure. So I
Yeah,
think,
I would just hope that the Texans never play them because I don't want to wake up that early to watch
then you're
them.
not a real fan.
I will set my alarm clock, but I'd appreciate it when I can sleep in and I'm not working and I can just turn on
We talk
the
about work,
game
Adam. This is all
after
you
I've
do.
already.
Podcasting. This is all you do. This is your
You're
life.
right. Podcast is love. Podcast is life.
All right. Well, let's. I think that's about all we have for the NFL for today. You want to move into some Rockets and Astros talk?
Yeah, sure. Just wanted to mention, start off with the Rockets that they dropped to number three in the power rankings. They've been struggling the past couple of weeks, more so last week. They've been struggling to hit the three. Their defense hasn't been all there. Eric Gordon missed a few games, so see if they can get another winning streak going, maybe get us up a little bit higher in the rankings. Clint Capella is to be making his way back here shortly. He's practicing with the team again, so that's good to see. So hopefully in the next couple of days we'll see him back on the court. And transitioning to the Astros, some big news: George Springer, Dallas Keuchel, and Jake Marisnick were all signed to one-year deals to avoid arbitration, so that's huge. Hopefully, we can make a run. Hopefully for a World Series pennant. Not trying to jinx anything, but hopefully. And big news is after the long, long journey, Jeff Bagwell is finally inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's huge news for every Houston fan. I'm happy for him. I think it's overdue. Um, So it's just great to see that he's finally going to be in the Hall of Fame, and we'll have two guys now. So just wanted to mention that, and that's all I've got, Anthony, for the Rockets and Astros this week.
Yeah, you didn't want to talk about the Astros continuing talks with the for the Athletics player.
I didn't want to waste too much time. Sure, we can
We got
talk
a
about
lot.
it a
We
little
got some
bit.
time.
They're
We got
just
some time.
talking. They're talking a little bit. I was reading that Jeff Luno's trying to get another guy to add into the bullpen. Not the bullpen. He's add into the rotation, deepen our depth, and you know, hopefully extend our run into the postseason, go a little bit deeper. Um,
We've been almost
yeah, we
there for how many seasons now? Going into the playoffs and trying to get deep into there, 2 or 3 times now, I think.
This is it, Anthony. This is
Hopefully,
it.
hopefully they do something.
We're I'm gonna go get me a tattoo that says Astros World Series champions
You
right
would
now.
be
No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
you
I'm
would be
just
in a
kidding.
bad place right now if you did that. Going into more of the Rockets, I've also kind of noticed that in those kind of couple games that we lost, Harden turned it up to a degree, not like he normally did. Normally does, just goes off, but he has been turning it on. But the rest of the team just couldn't keep up with him, and I think a lot
Yeah,
of that goes into the defense. That our defense has not been there at times. It's definitely been a more heavy offensive kind of games this year as compared to other years.
wow, Anthony, you're
Hey,
actually
I'm
watching the
watching them. I'm
Rockets.
getting into it. I don't have all
I'm
the time in the world.
impressed. Harden dropped like a 40-point triple double, and we still lost. You're actually doing your
I
homework.
watched that game yesterday that unfortunately we lost. He earned himself another triple double. He's 13 on the season, so he's like right there behind Russell Westbrook for the most. Russell has like 20 something, so it's he's not exactly close, but he's still the second. So Harden's still turning it up, and hopefully, if we get into the playoffs, we won't go out first round, and we'll have enough offense to really kind of make a drive going further in. I know basically you're gonna have to face eventually the Golden State.
We got a big
Golden
game, yeah, this week
But
against
if
the
we're going into the
Warriors.
playoffs, you're basically going to have to face Golden State, and you're going to have to face the Warriors, or not the Warriors, the Westbrook and all of them. Eventually, while they're not having a totally fantastic season in the playoffs, anything can happen. So who knows? We'll see how it gets further into the season.
Yeah, man, keep it up, and then we can devote so much more time to
You know,
this kind of
I'm
stuff.
watching, I'm learning. I don't.
I hear you.
You got your expertise. I've got mine.
Well, good job.
Thanks. You earned a cookie for today. Sweet.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. Well, got anything else to say to the people there, Adam?
No, just keep following us on social media. Follow us on Twitter at uh, _HurryUp, and we appreciate the support. If I'm stuttering, we appreciate the support and retweet, hashtag it up, try and get some more fans. Like us on our Facebook page at the Hurry Up. We're just trying to get our podcast out there. Hopefully, get more listeners and just make this more
And
enjoyable for you
reviews.
guys.
I know people don't like to do it, but if you leave us reviews on like whatever you're listening to, that would be fantastic. That way we can know what to fix, what to do. I would greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, well, that'd be awesome.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys for listening.
All right, thanks. Bye.